Good morning, Malise.
Good morning, Julia. How are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm good. Week number 21 of the lockdown pandemic, whatever we call it. But we're still keeping on, eh?
Yes, we are. Although I gotta admit, I'm really getting tired. I had a nervous breakdown yesterday in my car. Um, I went and I drove some food to my son, and I just wanted to hug him and you know, and I came back home and I sat in my driveway and it was pouring rain like crazy.
I
And
know.
so I couldn't even come out of my car, so I just burst into tears.
Aw.
It lasted just like a few minutes. It needed to come out. I'm good now. I'm okay.
So was that Kyle or Josh? Which
Josh,
one? Oh, Josh. I was
Joshua.
going to say.
Yeah. And
Oh,
Josh was kind of like all over the place right now. He's okay, so Brenda is backstage. We'll bring her in after.
yeah.
So anyway, so Joshua is kind of like in between like homes, and he's kind of in between jobs, so it's kind of like, I want to tell him to come home and stay with us, but at this point it's not a possibility. So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I just had a
It's
little mini nervous breakdown.
yeah, it's a hard time. No, I thought it was Kyle because I was going to say, when was the last time you saw the little one, the baby?
It's been a few weeks. Like I've been thinking of going. They're supposed to come, but it rained the last few days, so they were not able to come and visit. But yeah, I'm just gonna have a barbecue with them soon.
Backyard barbecue,
Y-
social distancing, the
Yeah,
best way to do it.
yeah. I hope that um, we have a long summer, so we can do that long time.
Well, we're in August already. Can you believe it?
I
Oh
know,
my
it's
God.
crazy. It's already been 6 months of this pandemic, and yeah, and schools are reopening.
I
So that's the
know.
big news of the week. The schools are
Wow.
opening. Elementary schools are going to be opening on a um, regular model. From what I can see, it's going to
Yep.
be just the same amount of students as there was before, with additional cleaning measures and stuff. But and then secondary schools are going to be a little more. There's going to be more precautions. There's cohorting and everything, but all that to say, I'm keeping my kids home.
I was going to say that was my next question.
Yeah,
Because what?
we took the decision that we're going to wait for at least one semester to see
Hmm.
how it goes, and then reevaluate in January, sort of sort of thing.
Yeah, well, you're lucky that you can do that. It's just those
Absolutely.
poor
It's not.
parents, poor parents that are not able to, that have to work, don't have,
Yeah.
childminders, cannot do homeschooling. So, you're fortunate that you can make that
Yeah,
decision.
it's a tough decision too,
It
because I
is.
mean, for the government too, because it's they're stuck between a rock and a hard place, because the economy has to move at some point, and
Yep.
kids have to go back to school. It's I understand that it's, mentally it's not healthy to not have the interaction and everything, but at the same time, I think we still don't know enough to take that risk. For me, anyways, that's my position for now.
No, I agree. But what the biggest part to me is, how are they going to deal with the school buses? I'm
Yeah.
anxious to see
Well,
how
did you
that's
see
going to happen.
our very own Paul Saint Onge has developed a nifty little thing that goes and sanitize the bus in like 1 minute. There was a
Really?
video. He posted a video this week. So he's got this little thing that goes and rolls right in the middle of the aisle, and it
Hmm.
it sanitizes the whole bus in under 1 minute. So it's pretty cool, and it's pretty proud because it's our own little.
Yeah,
Oh,
local,
yeah.
Cornwall.
So that's pretty cool. Anyways, you got a nice guest today.
We do, we do. So basically, with events and happenings not happening, geez, it's crazy. But so everybody's kind of been pivoting and trying to figure out how to do things. And there's a big event coming up. that again had to change ways of doing things. But I think they've got it under control. The Eastern Ontario Health Unit has given them the green light to go ahead. And we're talking about the Eastern Ontario Garlic Festival that's going to
Awesome.
be held August 30th. And today's show, we have Brenda Norman, who is one of the
So,
main organizers of the show. Welcome, Brenda.
Hey, hi there. How are
good
you?
morning. We're good. How are you?
I'm good. You hear me okay?
Yes, we hear you just fine.
All
Yeah,
right. Well, people sometimes need to turn their volume down, but here I am.
and always looking smiley and happy. You fit right in with the secrets, Brenda.
There you go. Well, it's the way to be, really. If we all shine what we're made of, then we can get through
Yeah.
this. When we say we're all in it together, then show us what we
Yeah,
have and
yeah.
step up and let's do it, right? So we're so grateful to you girls for everything you do, not because you're having me on the show, but if I'm at an event, not only do I see you there covering it, I see you there enjoying it.
For
And
sure.
you
Especially if there's
really
wine.
you're apt with people, so I can't wait till that time comes for all of us on the planet, but to see you girls somewhere again. And I think I was lucky enough to meet you when Bernadette did the kitchen table gig and Tariq from Peace by
Oh,
Chocolate was there.
what
And
an event.
wasn't it? And then
Oh,
you
that was
two,
great.
I'm going to say that's the one where you guys were right in it at the cocktail parties, all gorgeous. And I think you got a picture of the three of us. So I need
Yes,
to
we
see that.
do.
That's really, you must find that picture and get it up there.
It's there on our Facebook page somewhere. I saw it recently and I just got to go and dig for it.
Right. All right. Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for covering the Garlic Festival and the kind of activity Cause Roots has been up to, or Cause Roots Community Empowerment Project. Some people just say Cause Roots. But here we are.
Yes, well, we're always about helping community grow and prosper. So, it's our way to say thank you for what you do to the community with the
Mhm.
community. Anyways, my Lisa is going to be asking you the questions. I'm going to handle the questions from the viewers if there are any. So we're live on 4 channels right now, and hopefully people, if you have any questions for Brenda, just write them down and I will gladly ask her for you.
Right on.
So, Brenda, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Like, I know you're one of the founders of Cause Roots, but what exactly do you do, and what is Cause Roots?
Well, Cause Roots is like one tiny part of things that I do personally, but because it's seasonal, so I call myself a seasonal worker. So right now during this time we're in with the pandemic, for the last 4 years I've been working as a consultant for not-for-profits and social enterprises, and so usually consultants are the first ones like spilt on the ground and gone, but it turned out that people really needed us for risk management, for just handling all kinds, just like strategic planning and evaluation, because everything's changed. Everything that we were is no longer. And so I work closely with not-for-profits, mostly in Ottawa Food Bank, the City of Ottawa, some pretty happening gigs, U-Turn with youth, agriculture organizations as well. I've worked closely with, and to do campaigns for fundraising and whatnot. So that's one part. But I was from education originally, and I have 4 children. I have 3 grandchildren and a husband and a whole beautiful family and a whole bunch of beautiful friends. And some are in Cornwall and, of course, in the counties. And those are the people that help to develop Cause Roots. Initially, I made friends because of it there, and then friends actually moved. Like, Bonville Gardens came after Dad had stayed at our farm over 5 years when he was working in another province and would come back. And he just loved the area, and we all saw the assets. And as we built these relationships, saying, wow, look at all this land. Like, there's a lot of crops going on, but none of it's food really. And what about, all the youth challenges and the systemic challenges around, where people are in that region, the social demographic. And so we just saw all the beauty in it, being newcomers. And it's hard to be a newcomer. It's really hard to be a newcomer in Cornwall, even though there's like a place to North Dundas is a place to grow, and Cornwall is about possibilities. What is it again? The tagline? What's their tagline?
A city of opportunity or of possibilities, I think. Yeah.
You looked it up. You looked it up, Julia.
Yeah.
So we believe that when we see the sign, that's what we believed, and so that's 5 years ago. But we bought our farm in 2005. Again, seeing that region just seemed so luscious and had so much land available. So, there's lots of things Cause Roots wants to do. There's beautiful things that have already occurred that have impacted people's lives, from little children to seniors. And we kind of do it like we say grassroots, but really we went underground. So we do it for the purpose and not for any other reason. And so when we talk some more, we'll learn a little bit about some of the projects.
So Cause Roots is comprised of how many people? Like, is it the organization? How many people are involved?
It just has a simple board of directors. It's Lee Theodore from Spicy Pearl, Adrian Cannell, who has Black Duck Farms, Debbie Stone, who's at the Bonneville Gardens, partners with Doug, Sylvie Paquette, who is in Alexandria and has Sunrisa's farm. And then there's myself, but I'm not actually on the board of directors. I'm just a volunteer coordinator. There's no money, there's no cash flow, but there's lots of people flow and beautiful activity that has occurred through us. So our goal isn't driven by having to need monetary resources, which is really good. It's about showcasing the assets that are in people and in community and in resources and in infrastructure, and also the need of what people in a community want to see that's different than that's already there. So complementing what already exists around, but really showcasing what's going on here. And you said helping things grow. That's our tagline. Cause Roots Community Environment Projects, helping people in community grow.
So what kind of
plants and seeds?
Okay. What kind of projects has Cause Roots initiated over the last few years?
Okay, well, there's a few in that the article, but I'll share a few that aren't on there as well. So when we first started with the Garlic Festival, that was what it was going to be about. And then we just went to the city of Cornwall. We were very grassroots. There were sister organizations involved at the time, or brother organizations, who had no gender organizations. How's that? What am I supposed to say about that now? That's funny. In any case, the new context we have to think about. We thought we could do this little gig, right? And then we learned, of course, you need to be a proper organization with incorporation and have insurance. And I mean, I know these things, but we're just going to see how we could tap into something else. And originally we looked at the Lions Club. You might remember that, Julia, being a partner. And then because we had these sister, brother, non-gender organizations join on, they said, well, why don't we do what we can? And so we actually became incorporated and partnered with All Things Food and Eastern Ontario Agri-Food Network. When we presented at Echo Farm Day, the idea, the former Homestead Organics, Tom Manley, contacted us and said, this is brilliant, showcasing all the agri-food right here in the area of Eastern Ontario. So first it was Cornwall Garlic Festival. Then we were like, well, nobody's really growing garlic in Cornwall. Then it went to SDG. Then it went to Eastern Ontario. So with that title, we've actually been invited to other cities, and we have a second date you might see. So we didn't know the pandemic was going to happen. So it was originally called Eastern Ontario Garlic Festival Tour, and we were going to go to different cities in Eastern Ontario, but we facilitate bringing the people there, the organizations there, to be the leaders like we have in Cornwall with Baldwin House and Salvation Army and Agape and United Way and Boys and Girls Club, and all of them have participated in different ways. And, you know, we piggybacked on the NAV Center, we piggybacked on Marlins, and of course, Cornwall is like tremendous in giving us all the resources we need to do it. It's like pretty brilliant. And we came back because people kept saying, come back. Oh yeah, the South Mountain Fair also hosted us. So other activities we've done born out of the Garlic Festival, well, there were all these children's activities, and my first field is early childhood education and special needs education. And so we saw a great need for special needs resources. So we opened Seize the Day Camp, and we can talk about that on another occasion because it'll take time. But I'll tell you this, is that this day camp was an inclusive day camp that had about 30 some odd kids. We employed seven people from the rural area and one from Ottawa during that time. And we employ 3 others at Marlin Orchard and Former Winery because we grow food and we take care of the orchard there now. But this one family of a boy who had autism came to see us at the end. They said, every day, all of our child's life from daycare, and now he's in kindergarten, and he goes to sleep saying, I don't want to wake up in the morning. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And when he wakes up, he says, I don't want to go. I don't want to go, because there's tendencies in autism. This boy was super high functioning, so brilliant, so many ideas. He came to Seize the Day Camp. His language changed that entire summer. They weren't intending on using it all the time. He came as much as they could, and he'd go to sleep saying, I can't wait to go to sleep so I can wake up and go to Seize the Day Camp. So we handpicked people with special needs from the rural area. We met all kinds of criteria through summer youth jobs, which we advocated to change from summer student jobs to the Canadian government. And we see that did happen. We weren't the only ones, but who needs the jobs? Youth who don't have the resources or agency, and they identify homeless, rural, Indigenous, and we know that these people many times are facing challenges. So we hired those people, and they showed all their beauty. So when we talk about Cause Roots Community Empowerment Project, it's not about garlic, it's not about seeds, although garlic's very important. We got to get back to that. It's about helping all the things that are within us to grow and flourish, bloom, and be seen and utilized by the community. So a lot of youth got to work in there, and a lot of youth got to come, and many parents gave testimonials. So that's pretty impactful, and we want to do it again. And we canceled it last year because we're special needs camp, inclusive, all kinds of kids came. But when the funding was canceled, all the parents didn't have the extra resources because we have small ratios, and they still have to pay for the camp, even though it's a not-for-profit effort, but all the money is put back into the camp. So we couldn't do it. And then this year, of course, there was COVID. So we're going to do something online in September that's going to be really cool, and I'll include you girls.
Good. Now, the article that you're talking about, the article is online right now. We have our August issue on the seeker.ca. So you'll see the current issue and the article, the questions that we did with Brenda are all there. So there's a lot of different things that Cause Roots does, and it's all listed there for anybody who wants to go read it. It's also on our Seeker page, the whole article.
It's hard to encompass in one page because you do so much, but we try to pack it well.
Well, I'll just say this. I don't actually do a whole lot. I facilitate things coming together. So when all the seniors came out and we tapped 150 trees during the 105th Canada 150, and we used the burner and all these people who used to tap trees into their 90s. They were into their 90s, wow. There were 5 or 6 seniors, and they all told their stories. And some of them one person who was a big farmer had never tapped trees before, but always wanted to. And he's like 80 years old. And so all of these things were being reminiscing and sharing skills with our organization on how to do it. Cause we didn't know, we just said, let's do it, man. 150 trees. We had all the land donated to us. And that was in North Stormont. And interesting enough it was great because all the counselors from North Stormont got involved by contributing funds to make it happen. Because again, we don't really seek sponsorship and funding so much. We only go out for what we need. And back in the day, Homestead used to give us everything, and then everybody else would contribute, mostly with in-kind goods and sometimes cash from some of the organizations, but we've never got funding. We applied for one grant once, we didn't get it, and we're like, do we need to apply for grants? Because we got people power, man.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful. So, I mean, you really are grassroots. Everybody comes together to help out. So that's wonderful. Now, COVID hits. What happened to your organization's efforts when COVID hit? How did things change?
Well, we talk about organizations all over. I can tell you, because I'm a consultant, is that everything changed, right? I mean, when you talk, not-for-profits are doing really good work, because you both know, you're both involved heavily with, like if certain things don't happen, then certain people don't eat, or they don't get resources, or they don't have a mentor, or they don't have access to the internet, or whatever it is, many things. It was a ripple effect, not just one thing for Target, the people we serve. But what happened was chaos. That's what happened. We're talking about, kids who were incarcerated that got out and need to be in contact and be mentored. This has been a big problem. Families living in shelters, family shelters. Well, they don't qualify for food banks, and they don't qualify for being homeless. So where are they getting their food? That's something we need to talk about, because the Garlic Festival is giving all money that is raised by donations at the door or through Eventbrite, to this organization, Food for Thought, who's prepared over 60,000 meals, and each meal feeds 2 people. So that's like 120,000 people have been fed by volunteers, really renowned chefs across Ottawa. Powerful. And so we'll talk about that when you're ready.
Perfect. So yeah, COVID kind of put a stop to a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. So with the Garlic Festival, what happened was we had said early at the end of February, because it was all predictable, that we would make sure everybody could get garlic in the lease. So the vendors would have sent us their profiles, and would order forms and do a little video about who they're about, maybe like in a booth, as if they're at a booth. And at any time, once the garlic was harvested, people could have started to order garlic. But I reached out to the health unit when everything in gatherings were changing the rules around that, and they got back to us last Friday in the evening, and they were very, very actually encouraging, saying they've just been so busy, as you can imagine. And so they thought my contact would just call me after hours, and he said, if you go with all the garlic growers who have been approved in the past, there's no new registration. So that's why you don't see a registration out there. And we utilize those same people, and no one knew. We already know they're approved. So they'll still do the check. It's garlic. It grows in the ground. There'll be no food, no tasting, nothing like that at all. But it will still be a beautiful atmosphere. It will be on the Seaway. We're encouraging people to, they'll be parking at the Civic Center, and then they'll be walking along the Seaway, because it's in a secret little place. Hopefully, I'll just tell y'all right now. Should I?
Well, I just got a question actually from Jackie, who said the Facebook page says that you'll be making the EO Garlic Fest virtually for real on site. What does that mean? How can we get garlic? So maybe you can talk about it.
Okay, so virtually, we're doing it, right, Jackie? How you doing, Jackie? Jackie, I've collaborated with Jackie. She's come to our farm and done beautiful photographs when we've had the youth programs. We've had hundreds of youth pass through our farm for education, and other farms as well. And Jackie's a really great volunteer as well. So virtually, we're doing it on site, unless, of course, something happens and we all have to stay at home and put on masks while we're in our houses and not go out, because at any minute we don't know the way things have been going. Imagine they say everybody stay home, nobody go anywhere. Well, then it would have to be canceled as a physical gig and go back to being a virtual one. But right now we're going with the physical gig, and we will feature later this week the garlic growers that are going to be there, some of our past ones who can't make it. Again, it's short notice, and also the weather affected some crops, so some people did fine, but the cold and the rain and the snow, remember in April, it's been crazy. You saw trees only came out at a certain time, and I'm like, are the trees going to come out this year? So garlic was impacted. So some people actually won't be able to attend because their garlic crop needs to be rebuilt. So they'll just turn what they have into seed. Because it came out small this year doesn't mean that same seed won't grow into a nice big luscious garlic. So Jackie, there will be garlic on the Seaway at the festival. That will be a manned gateway where we ask people for a $5 donation. That donation will go to Food for Thought that feeds people living in family shelters. So
do you have a URL for that organization? Do you have the website?
Yeah, I'll get it to you.
Okay.
So, but if you look up Food for Thought Ottawa right now, it will come up for you. They're
Okay.
all over CTV, CBC. They were just on Rogers the other day. So family shelters are places where generally children and mothers are, and they generally come from away, right? So there, if you're in a shelter, say in Shabugamu, just for not identifying, but you live in, you know, Moxie City, which is a little bit away, and you need a shelter, you will be sent to Shabugamu. You don't generally stay in the shelters where you live. So these
Okay.
shelters are thousands of people with children. Sometimes the husband's there too, because they may be asylum seekers sometimes too. And so because they didn't qualify for food banks and they don't qualify for homeless, they didn't have food and they're locked in. So restaurants in Ottawa, Joe from Coconut Lagoon initiated it, had all this food. It's like, well, let's make food and bring it to people who need it. And then they hooked up with Food for Thought, who every Friday does a cafe for a region where there's 4,000 units of low-cost housing. And there's not internet in the youth's home, and they don't have a place to gather in that area. There's no community center. The closest store is a quickie, and everything else you need to go on a bus. That organization initiated this thing where they made beautiful food that matches up with ethnicities, which is what they continue to do. And then they would gather, and then these kids started bringing their siblings and their parents, and it turned into this beautiful family thing. Well, they had to shut down, so they pivoted, hooked up with the chef. Then all these other chefs stepped up from embassies, from really amazing, these are Canadian renowned award-winning chefs, used their kitchens, used their food, and then they raised $203,000 within 4 months. And now there's no more money coming because giving has changed. Now, so as a consultant that works in that field, I said, if we can find a way to give, people will give. So coming to the Garlic Festival, we've never asked for money before. We never asked for anything. So we're just asking, like, if you're coming to the Garlic Festival, there's a couple of requirements. You're coming there to get garlic. You can't come as a visitor to walk around. It's not that kind of festival. You absolutely have to be coming there to buy garlic. As it is, we have 5,000 to 3,000 people. One year we had 1,000 people, but still some people sold out. Other people didn't do as well that year. And, but generally a lot of people come, but in those people, I don't know how many are purchasing because we haven't calculated that, but we've generated $150,000 within 35 hours. Each festival is 7 hours. That's a lot of local money. Local growers, farmers, not-for-profits. I mean, I'll get the list to you of all the not-for-profits we've worked with. But when Kim, who was on our board at one time, Kimberly Cameron, said, I really want to do a project like this. I have this idea of people moving around canvases, and we did art in motion. It was the first time that the 3 Cornwall art associations, which I'll also give you, the French and the 2 English ones, worked together, and the artists talked about having the fear and touching each other's canvases. Well, I have that art, and I think you have a picture of it in the art.
Yeah, we put a picture. Yeah.
But I'll get you the individual ones too, so that you girls can see them at least, or put them up on our Facebook individually. Really powerful stuff. That art has gone on tour, been in conferences, was being reserved. It's been in coffee shops or exhibitions. It's done Echo Farm Day, did the Sustain Ontario conference, Bring Food Home conference. So that's another thing. Cause Roots works at conferences, we'll do presentations, we'll facilitate activity like events. And in that case, the Bring Food Home conference is when Cause Root was the leader of the social activities. And it was in their evaluation, for like 400 people attended. 80% said their number one gig at that conference was our big haunted Halloween gig we did with all local food from Eastern Ontario. And then the other 20% said it was their second favorite. So we do cool stuff, man. The thing is, we make it flow. We make it happen because people like you show up. It's in your heart, right? It's more than like, there's COVID going on. Let's all do and follow the rules. Yes, let's follow the rules, but let's still be alive. let's show what we're made of and let's make things happen. And Jackie, I want to talk to you because we want to have some artists there at no cost to work together in shelters. Two in a shelter, painting live, meeting with people. So we're going to have a few of those spots, but mostly it's going to be garlic. And we're asking people to come out who can have some cash to spend on garlic, because garlic is a certain price. And then we'll get to that. I want to talk about advocating for garlic being a product of Canada.
Now, my big thing is with COVID right now, obviously it's not your normal looking garlic festival. People can't just come in, wander around. Like, it's going to be really restricted because for a start, only 100 people can go in at a time, right? How are you going to control that? Oh, before we go any further, I do want to stress that the garlic festival is August the 30th.
Right.
And it's, what time is it?
10 to 3.
10 to 3. So in that
time,
time,
the Seaway. It's not in the park. It's in a location that we can control and not interfere with other people using the Seaway or the park. It's actually, our goal is to put it on the peninsula. You know that little peninsula that shoots out on the Seaway closer to the parking for
the boat launch.
Yeah,
the boat launch.
It's like a 4-minute walk from it's down below the museum and the water pad. So people are out there. I had a picnic the other day. People are respecting the social distancing. It's not too crowded. So people are going to come in. So you reserve your ticket on Eventbrite during a certain time. So it's going to be blocks, and we're going to estimate how much time based on other people, because everybody's doing 100 people shopping at grocery stores, whatever it might be, that are a certain size can only have so many people in, right? So we're going to use those same kind of measures, and this is why we need to use Eventbrite. And you can make a donation right on there, and if you didn't make a donation and show us there, then we'll ask you for a donation. And again, we've never asked for money, but this money is going directly, feeds 4 people. Usually a mother, 3 little kids, something like that, right? Who doesn't want to do that? If you have money to buy garlic, you have $5. So you have your ticket designated time 10 to 10:30, and that shuts down. Okay, and then the 10:30 to the 11 and the 11 to the 11:30 blocks on Eventbrite, you'll have to that's not on there yet. We're asking people, don't go and get your tickets yet, because we need the health unit to give us the stamp, which will be later this week. Again, we're in COVID, and if there's anything that I'm personally really good at is like making an event happen, even if it was going to get canceled the next day. And that's, Fan Saves won Get in the Ring. Well, that gig was getting canceled. And I said, whoa, you can't cancel this gig. Mm-hmm. And then they won and went to Berlin. So if, I can do that with my people and my resources, this is easy. Garlic growers, farmer market people are experts at what they do. They're going to set up. We're going to have something on the ground saying, thanks for waiting here. And then 6 feet away, we're going to have another little quote or something on another rock. We all know what we're doing. I don't need to write stand 6 feet away. Mm-hmm. There will be some of those signs because they're required. There'll be no bathrooms. You'll be using the civic and the water pad just as if you were walking through the park on any other day. And it's come in, meet growers. Musicians will be on a roast schedule to busk, and people can throw a little cash at them, but they'll only be 1 or 2 at a time, depending on the sound. We're going to measure this week. And it will still be a beautiful atmosphere. The growers decorate their booths beautifully, so you'll definitely get your $5 worth visually, making contacts, and also knowing that you just fed 4 people, right? And I just want to say, we are also selling masks. We have over 90 styles here by Protect Each Other. Protect Each Other actually hired immigrants who were out of work, who were seamstresses during COVID, and helped the company to stay open as an essential service, and created all of these masks. So there's all kinds of styles, super fun things, and they have the logo from the company, but they also have the logo for Food for Thought on them.
Oh.
And they're
nice.
Reversible. I'll just show you. They're super, so it's jersey cotton on the outside, inside, but that's so it's reversible for solid. You see, the little logos go under here, or then it's woven cotton on the outside. And they meet all the standards for being under the chin and over the nose. And we have children's sizes. These are large, so it's a little bit big for me. But these will also be for sale. So if you give us $15 when you come, then you're feeding 8 people, because the cost of the mask, of course, has to be incorporated into that. But they've become a sponsor, so protect each other. There'll be a code online where individuals can order them from anywhere. And you're helping companies stay open. You're helping individuals sew at home. You're helping people be fed. So Cause Roots Community Empowerment Project is all about others getting lifted. We rise by lifting others. So this time, because we don't have all the not-for-profits having an opportunity to make a big effort in the region, which we normally do, but we have invited them to have unmanned booths, posters with their activity, how they're getting through COVID. They can have an actual booth. But we had to choose something to do. And when I saw what this was all about, and it's about food and farmers and everybody's donating food, it's really powerful. I mean, it should be a documentary. Anybody want to do a documentary? Get in touch with me. We'll do it. So it's a ripple effect, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're incorporating all kinds of stuff this year, including the masks. So when they come out, a big question, do they have to wear a mask to come to the event, or no? Because it's outdoors.
No, because we're going to practice social distancing, but people are free to wear a mask. And of course, we'll be there with them.
Yeah.
And you can make a purchase of one.
Yeah. Vendors have to, right? I believe.
No, we're following all the farmers market rules, and we're following. So we have a farmer who's from Lansdowne Market who's helping. And so we're going to be following all the rules accordingly. They created a really good system. We're just going to duplicate it. The health unit approves everything. Again, we don't even have it came on so quickly that we still, there's a little bit of leeway here because we're using the same people that we've always used. We're inviting them, right, individually. It's going to be easier for the health unit to process them all. But there's still some things that have to be done for that, the people, the growers to all be approved. And that we have to be ready that if they say, guess what, as of tomorrow at 10 o'clock, nobody should go outside. It'll be crazy. And I'm so grateful because I have a farm and I can go and do whatever I like because I have all that space. But imagine that could happen, and then we'll get garlic to people online.
Yeah, it's completely unpredictable right now. Anything can happen. We don't know. Like usually with the Garlic Fest, you've got the rain to worry about, but right now we've got many more things than the rain to worry about.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, usually we have a backup. So the Civic Center at Marlin's, it was inside of a greenhouse. At South Mountain Fair, we had something organized to be inside, and at the NAV Center, we had something to be organized inside. So we haven't done that this time. So I'm going to say rain or shine, maybe not a tornado or hurricane, or but I think that it's on no matter what. And the growers are used to this. And again, it's about coming to get your garlic. That doesn't mean you have to rush out. And it doesn't mean that we're going to make it so that if you really want to go back to somebody else, because remember, we love people. We're not here to be giving anyone a hard time. Everybody's already having a hard time. We'll find a way to help you to get back to somebody you might have decided you want to get the garlic. But once you touch garlic, you might as well just buy some from everybody. That's what I'm encouraging to do.
So Jackie had a question. It was asking if the packaging for the masks is compostable or earth friendly. Do you know?
Beautiful girl. I'm going to talk to the people there, but if it's not now, it certainly will be in the future.
Okay.
Wonderful.
I want to ask a question to people. So people, we're talking about garlic. So I'd like to know, what's your favorite thing about garlic? What do you like to make with garlic? What do you buy when you go to Garlic Fest? So just come on and interact with us.
All right. So if I had to choose my most favorite thing about garlic, it would be pulling it out of the ground. Every time I pull a garlic out of the ground is like the first time. It's so powerful. There's no really words to describe it, but once you do it, if I'm very connected to soil and things that grow. It's like it really resonates with me. So it's really something to pull a garlic and it comes out and it's like this nice big garlic. And even if it's a tiny garlic, then you're like, oh, look at this tiny little precious garlic.
Mhm.
So that's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, everybody knows that I kill everything. I have green thumb.
Well, we're looking at projects on farmers' land to get people land, because no matter what is going to happen in the future, going to land is good. But can you imagine that maybe some authorities, or there's word out on the street that we might be living like this for quite a while?
Oh, yeah.
So if there's all this unused land, it's time for us to get people like you, I won't say me because I have land, but everybody, an opportunity. If you've had it in your heart and you wanted to grow, or you've been a grower and you want to come back, how do we access this land like community gardens?
Mm-hmm.
And let people tap into growing their own food and having a place. And I know that at my farm, in my 30 acres, I'm going to be putting in some paths. Like I have 30 acres of forest that's not farm. I'm going to be putting in some paths, and certainly my friends and people I get acquainted with will be invited. Our farm has had people on it many times, many businesses, many schools. We always work with schools that had youth that were marginalized and disenfranchised. When we started the thing, that in our interviews, the people we were working with said, we're only going to bring, kids from schools where, that they have it together and you won't have to worry about anything. I said, whoa, that's great. Those kids get to go everywhere. Bring us the kids into school that don't get invited everywhere. And then we turned it into something. We've had hundreds of kids come through our farm. We fed them, did the trading post. Remember the trading post? The trading post in Martintown? Well, Gary, he was a big supporter. Jan Bell came one time. And lots of different people have come and cooked and prepared their local food at our place. And kids have come, like hundreds of kids, and eaten and picked garlic or planted garlic. It's a good way to get garlic planted, that's for sure. Get a bunch of schools at your farm.
It's awesome though, because it's finally we've had a chance to talk and find out a lot of the things that you do. Because you're always at CD Saturday, you're at different events, but we were always part of
the plant giveaway with Transition Cornwall and CD Saturday and lots of community gardens too in Cornwall. Like I said, we're underground. It's pretty safe underground.
Yeah.
You don't get any trouble underground. Remember, I'm a newcomer, and everybody that I work with almost is a newcomer, even though I've been there for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
People, this is why we want to say, look in the mirror and see how beautiful you are, Cornwall and area, because you have so many assets and the world of possibilities. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
Mine is, right?
Yeah.
And where I am right now, it's a good place to grow.
So what do you
corn, so we got to change that. It's great. So the other thing about our organization, we're not in competition with anybody. There are people growing corn and soy. When we're grassroots, it doesn't mean like we don't respect that those are real businesses, real farming gigs, but we do aim to be ecological. We're into permaculture. Some of our partners are really big time into permaculture. There's ways to be growing food for ourselves. We're not doing it. And more importantly, we're not growing garlic. We grow the best garlic in the world. The World Trade Market had garlic at $33.3 billion in 2017. China was $33 billion. $3 billion was the rest of the world. Canada's not even on the world trade market for garlic, yet we grow the best garlic in the world because it weathers. And that's why when people have garlic, like this Canadian, Quebec, Ontario garlic, it truly is, but it's a one season gig. Whereas in hot countries, they're just planting and growing. And like people don't know, embalming fluid and other chemicals are put into or sprayed or into garlic so that it can be stored and be taken out of their country, because you can't have any roots or any living body in garlic. We could be making millions, billions of dollars with garlic. We change the price. It doesn't need to be what we're selling. Garlic growers are not going to like this. Some of them do, because they believe it doesn't take more room than a beet or an onion. Yet we're charging, like, you get a bag of onions sometimes for 79 cents or whatever.
Mhm.
But one garlic's costing you $3. And it's the one food that unites all people across this entire planet.
Yeah,
It's
it's true.
the one food that we all use in all our Italian or our Indian or Croatian, whatever food you're making, Hungarian. You know, the Brits weren't so big on garlic. There's like a whole history of garlic, how garlic's associated with ethnicity. And at one time, I know I've heard the history story where people who ate garlic were like dismissed, like that people didn't want to be around them. Well, guess what? I ate garlic. I'm 57 years old. I'm super strong, and it's true.
Absolutely.
I don't do science on this and health science, but there is no doubt that eating garlic every single day, I mean, they made it into a vitamin. You can buy it.
Mhm.
So I don't have the research on it, but I do have the research on the market. And the market is, we could change, like, youth being a grower is very trendy, right?
Mhm.
So youth are super into growing. It's the cool thing to be doing. Well, imagine the entrepreneurial spirit in millennials and other folks older and even younger than them, where they could be working together on land that's not being used, growing garlic, and we get funding for that kind of stuff. And then we're exporting garlic. We export more food out of Canada than we keep for ourselves, and then we import it in. There's a crisis with food. Nobody's talking about it. I don't have all the research. You know, Kat Rendeck and other people that are down there in Cornwall really know this stuff. We need to be advocating as one people, one group of growers, one group of people that eat food. We are what we eat, they say, and we don't have enough food. And of any time, and because of the weather, and because farmers weren't sure they were going to have their workers, because apparently we can't get Canadians to work on farms, but I can tell you we can get Canadians to work on garlic farms because it's super cool. And I wish they worked everywhere, but they didn't plant what they did. And a lot of farmers turned to crop farms this year instead of food, because they had to guarantee they were still going to get their money at the end of the season, right?
Yeah.
So we'll be talking in the fall. There won't be food, you know. Maybe get in touch with some people down there that are the food advocates, Alain Daou, Kat Rendeck, and I think there's a few others, I'm not sure. But they probably have some information, and that could be an interesting thing to talk about, because of the most important thing other than love and connection and shelter is food, and it's talked about the least. And there's all these initiatives that happen around your community down there. You know, I say your community because I'm up in North Stormont right now. I'm at the Mass Company. And that's protecteachother.ca, by the way, everybody. And we really need to do something. So this has turned into morning motivation. And I'd like to find another word, but I'm just saying, more talking about food. How's that? More talking about our security, food security. And that's where we come back to these masks and helping people to be fed. Because who wants to think about a child being hungry somewhere?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So I'm the keeper of the time here. It is 10:51. So I'm gonna say, Milise, I'm sure you had other questions you wanted to ask. So let's wrap them up.
Well, there's a lot of questions, but Brenda's kind of talked about a lot of different things, and it's really interesting how you're so passionate about garlic. That's for sure.
Mhm.
And I mean, the main thing that we wanted to let people know was that the Garlic Festival is still going on. In which form, we don't know right now, but definitely it's going to be going on, hopefully, you know, out there in that little peninsula. But there'll be more details to come. Like, where can people go to get details at this point as it progresses?
We don't have a website anymore because, again, remember we said we don't have finances and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
I can hook you up with that.
Yeah, well, we just decided that we would just let the website go for now. We still own the domain, but Facebook, and then we'll start a little bit on Instagram. Again, we're in this together, so be patient with us. We are just going to do the best we can and more, because that's how I like to roll. But it will be beautiful, and do come because you're buying garlic. We will connect you with garlic growers online if you can't buy garlic that day, and you'll find them on our Facebook. That's
so the Facebook page is the Eastern Ontario Garlic Festival.
Yeah. And we have the actual event there, so you can tell us you want to come there, but you're going to order your tickets on Eventbrite. But just hold off on doing it. Just wait, because we don't want to be refunding donations or like, I don't know how it all works. We had the event up originally, but Eventbrite, I think, took everything down, because when you went to the event, we had the little scanner and everything, so it brought you there. So we're going to just reorganize all of that, and we really appreciate any support that organizations or businesses in the region might want to lend to us for advertising, even like just saying, hey, we're all committed. We're going to put up a poster if you're open, or we'll share it on our social media. Just like, let's get people out there. Let's get people fed by purchasing the masks and making donations. That's our priority for right now. We've invited Salvation Army, Baldwin House, SAS, Habitat for Humanity. A few more emails are going to go out to some of our partners, but any organization out there that has a poster or a banner that wants it at the event, and if they have a fundraiser going on, they have permission to sell raffle tickets or whatnot. Habitat for Humanity and Salvation Army and even Baldwin House, they bring articles to sell. I don't know if they will be doing that, but again, this came on fast. They haven't even communicated back with us yet, so we just have to see how the garlic rolls, man.
So you're going to go with the flow, and I think there's an email that people can get a hold of you if they've got information that they want. So what's your email that they can
So if it's pertaining to the Garlic Festival, it's eogarlicfest@gmail.com. And if it's pertaining to Cause Roots Community Empowerment projects or any of the work that I particularly do, they can reach us at Cause Roots, KOZROOTS @gmail.com. And I'm on LinkedIn as Brenda Norman for anybody who wants to talk business, anybody interested in investing, the idea of creating garlic as a product of Canada.
Wonderful.
We have people on it, and it's going to all come, and you guys will be some of the people that help by getting the word out. So thank you very much.
And so the Facebook page is facebook.com/Eastern Ontario Garlic Festival. So if you need any information. Thank you so much for being with us today, Brenda.
Thank you.
All
it
right.
was wonderful seeing your smiling face. You're always
absolutely
so happy.
It's very motivational on a Monday morning.
It is.
Right. Well, let's make it every day. It's all right, folks. It's all going to be all right. And so if we can all get in that vibration, then we can move through it better. And don't forget, even if you have a mask, this mask here been washed 5 times. And just, I'm a marketing person and I'm doing sales. So it's been washed 5 times. And it works perfectly and stays great. And it's $10. You can't go
and it
wrong
feeds
with that,
people.
right? Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Have yourself a great day, Brenda.
Peace. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Brenda. Bye.
All right. So we have a little 5 minutes to go. You had events that you want to talk about.
Oh, I've got quite a few things that are happening, which I'll run by really fast. One of my favorite places, Mama Sue's Restaurant, is finally open again at 850 Boundary Road. She's open 7 a.m. Monday to Wednesday, 6 a.m. on Thursday to Sunday. She's got half capacity inside. She can have 20 people outside, so it's better to always call ahead to make sure she's got space, 613-933-9055. Masks must be worn in the restaurant, but Mama is waiting to cook you some healthy home food.
And that's a new thing about restaurants too. That the news came out last week, stating that they now have to take the names and
Mm-hmm.
numbers of everybody that goes and dines either on the terrace or inside for contact tracing.
Exactly. That makes a lot of sense. I want to give a shout out to Kings and Little Ones on Pitt Street, 231 Pitt, celebrating 5 years in business already. Can you believe it?
Wow!
It's like they just
No,
opened.
I know.
It feels like they just opened. So their website is kingsandlittleones.ca. And right now, for the whole month of August, every time you get a service there, your receipt gets put into a draw, and you can win a Traeger Pro 575 grill. So that contest goes on till the 31st of August. So if you need your haircut, beard trim, whatever, go on down and get your name put in, because from the picture, it looks like a wonderful, wonderful grill. Library is finally open tomorrow. You can go in and browse. Today it's closed because of the civic holiday, but it's open tomorrow. So you can browse the bookshelves. Audiovisual material, you have to still reserve and pick up once you've been notified that it's ready. Of course, you've got to go in with the masks, the precautionary measures from Eastern Ontario Health Unit, and your visits have to be kept to 30 minutes. So there's, again, it's nice that it's open, but different protocols. And the library is going to be open Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 9:30 to 4:30. And from Wednesdays, 12:30 to 7:30. But all the information is on their website, library.cornwall.on.ca. So go check it out. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be happy to be able to go back in there.
Yeah, my kids will be happy.
I know. I've a few more minutes. I'm trying to get in as many little tidbits as I can. And then, of course, this Wednesday, August 5th, Fantasy Realm reopens
Yes.
to in-store shopping. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to be happy about that too, because he's been closed for quite some time from the very beginning, I think.
Yeah, he was doing curbside, but
Yeah, I think he's still going to do that. If you, his big thing is you've got to wear a mask to go in, and it makes sense to keep the other shoppers safe, to keep him, the owner
yeah, because
safe.
it's not a big space, so
It isn't. It's very small. So he's open from 11 to 5. I'm actually, you know what? I'm not even sure if it's every day, but you can always call and check. Masks are mandatory, but if there's a reason that you cannot wear a mask, he can still do curbside pickup. He's got other ways that he can serve the public if you can't go in. But again, masks are important if it's a small space, which it is.
yeah.
And on his opening day, August the 5th, he's going to have free comics. So, of course, that's another good little thing, right? Last week, we had the White Knucklers on because
Yes.
they have a big event coming up this Saturday, August the 8th. They have a motorcycle ride and hot rod event, which is their annual fundraiser. And it's for little Jersey, so she's going to be there. There'll be a barbecue. If you have, I'm looking to see if they've got any information for a phone number, but go on their Facebook page, the White Knucklers Facebook page, if you need any information. They have a lot. Plus, there's also a good article in the August Seeker, which is online on our website, theseeker.ca. There's a full page article about the White Knucklers, about what they do, and all about the event coming up. So hopefully they'll have a good community turnout. Because
I'm going to try to put all these things on our Facebook page as well. So I'll put the links to all the events and the Eastern Ontario Garlic Fest as well.
Yeah, so check out our page because everything will be there. We'll try and get as much out as we can.
Mm-hmm.
A couple more things. The next art walk is going to be August 28th, downtown Cornwall. Come meet the artists with social distancing. And that's from 4 to 8. But I mean, this is all coming up at the end of August too. So we'll discuss it in our next shows.
Right.
And then the Garlic Festival is coming up August 30th. So even though there's a lot of stuff only online, there's a lot of things starting to happen. But we've just got to remember, we've got to social distance. We've got to wear masks if it's necessary. All that good stuff. Because the last thing we want to do is start going backwards and have things closing again.
Mm-hmm.
We see a light at the end of the tunnel, and we want to keep going towards that light, not start going backwards.
I agree. 100%.
We've been in shutdown way too long, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Jeez. So, like I say, there's a lot going on. And then I just heard Williamstown Fair. Yes, it's coming up in September. On September the 5th is going to be a drive-through. Can you imagine?
Cool. Well, it worked very well for RibFest.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's the way to go. Like, it's summertime, so we can do it. I can't imagine doing this in 6 feet of snow, but
exactly.
As it is right now, like, it's a good way to do it.
Yeah, but I mean, again, it shows how people are pivoting because we have no choice. So the website is williamstownfair.ca if you want to see information. But I want to go through, actually. I think it's going to be really interesting.
Well, I want to go to the Garlic Fest now, and I don't go out much. You know that.
I know. So I want to do that too. So it's kind of a very positive because things are starting to happen. So
yeah.
I mean, my big thing was this past weekend, we did our first wedding videography COVID style. I mean, It's not every day you go into a church and everybody's wearing shields and masks. So
right.
Social distancing and the whole bit. So DJing and videography is taking a whole new twist as well.
It's a different world.
I'll definitely have something to talk about after next weekend because we're doing our first DJ without dancing. No fast dancing. So I'm like, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Life is changing.
I saw that karaoke was back on at what's it called again? The old
Oh my God, I think it's Lounge 51.
Lounge 58, I think.
58, yeah.
Yeah. So they were having karaoke last night. I don't know how that went, but they had the plexiglass in front of them and everything. So it's a different world.
Oh my God, is it ever, Julia? It's really different.
Yep. Anyway, on that note, I want to wish everybody a great week. You can always write us if you have any suggestions at info@theseeker.ca. We're working on our next issue, which is going to be the Seaway Foodies. So contact us if you have anything to put in there. We also want to remind people that we try to feature small businesses. There's a 5-question that we ask, and you can feature your business for free. We're trying to help as much as we can, help the community get back on their feet, get small businesses get back on their feet. So if you are interested in participating in that Locals in the Loop, we call it, just send us an email and we'll send you the link to fill in all the 5 questions. Yep. And I'm happy to say that we're very close to launching our app. It's going to be coming in the next few weeks, so keep an eye open for that.
A lot of exciting stuff going on.
Yes, absolutely. So have yourself a great week. You too, Mylise, and we'll see you next week.
And have a super duper day.